ready?
What's up, everyone? Can't believe I'm saying it, but the regular season of the NFL is complete. Should be a good wild card weekend. I have Jason Gold with me, as always, on Mondays. What's going on, Jason?
What is going on? Welcome to the playoffs. I'm super excited to talk about all these games, make some bets. Let's make some money.
Yeah, I am too. And the script writers really outdid themselves this year with some of these matchups, and we'll get into that. Any final comments on, the Week 18 games? Feelings, questions, concerns?
No, I mean, I thought that the season ended perfectly with the Buffalo-Miami shit show that was the fourth quarter last night. I thought that Buffalo could have won that game by 30 points, but in classic Buffalo fashion, they did not. Interested to see what the playoff brings us. I'm happy with the matchups that we got. Why don't we dive into it?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, first one, we get 2 Saturday games, which is always nice here. 4:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Cleveland is headed to Houston. Houston field goal underdogs at home. Money seems to be pouring in on Cleveland. Not exactly shocked there. The market doesn't love betting on rookie quarterbacks and rookie head coaches. So not totally surprised. Total sitting at 44. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I was waiting until Houston got to +3, and then I think that I have to make a move on that at a field goal. The Browns, I do not trust their defense on the road. Go look at the stats. They're great at home. They're terrible on the road. Baltimore has to be absolutely shitting their pants if they have to face Cleveland next week, so I'm sure that they're rooting for Houston in this game. Yes, the moment's going to be big for C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, but it's not like DeMeco Ryans hasn't played in a bunch of big games throughout his career or coaching career. And it's not like CJ hasn't played in a bunch of big games. He played Georgia in the semifinals last year. You think that that game's going to be any less rowdy than this game, especially given that the game's at home? I don't know. I think that Cleveland has a really good defense, but again, not as good on the road. The offense is hit or miss. Like, which Flacco are we getting here? Do we, buy into the fact that he's been good the last 4 or 5 weeks for Cleveland and he can throw the ball down the field? Yeah, sure. But he's also turnover prone. If Houston's defense is able to force a couple turnovers here, this game could totally go haywire for them. And I don't exactly trust them playing from behind here. I'm leaning towards Houston at this +3. I'm leaning towards it on the money line. My prediction for this game is Houston 21, Cleveland 20. I think there could be an upset here. The only part that scares me off, really, is that the market is so aggressive on Cleveland right now that should I just wait? Like, is there a 3.5 that's going to come out in this market at some point? I don't think so.
Too. I hesitate to bet it because the way that the market's responding to this game, I almost think that if you do wait, you might be able to get a little bit of a better number there.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to get to 3.5. I would be surprised if there's not a significant buyback by big bettors at Houston +3. That seems like the number that they would buy back at. I think that this line closes either 2.5 or 3 towards Cleveland. If there is a 3.5, I can guarantee you I will be betting that 3.5. I'm probably going to end up on this 3 for Houston as well.
Okay, so you are on the under then, probably for this game.
Leaning a little under, not sure that I'm going to bet it. My prediction says so. I'm not quite there. I could see this being, I don't know about a shootout, but I could see it getting over the 44. So it's not something I want to play.
Yeah, and Cleveland, like you said earlier, their defense on the road is a totally different team. They do not play the same at all. And they've gone over. So 7 of 8 Cleveland road games over this number here. They're allowing 29.6 points per game on the road. And I think Stroud, I get the whole rookie head coach, rookie quarterback thing, but he also really carries himself as a veteran. Like his confidence on the field, I think this entire season has been impressive. And I don't think that's part of the success that they've had. There's also this very fun narrative where, they gave Deshaun to Cleveland. So for the Texans, I would love to see them win this game. Everyone is very heavily on Cleveland. I think by the end of the week, I will be on the Texans, which again, I know people in the comments and everyone that's going to go back and listen to this later knows I've been very high on the Texans this year. And obviously I was right because I had been giving it out for them to win the division, for them to go over their win total. And I think that they proved that they're a good football team. It's kind of giving like last season where the Giants went in, beat the Vikings, and then got their asses handed to them the following week.
Yeah, and I also think that it's probably valuable for Houston that they basically just played a playoff game. They're coming in here, they're already emotionally ready for it. Cleveland took the week off. Like they haven't played a meaningful
Yeah.
game in 2 weeks. Then they're traveling on the road. That makes me it's good vibes for Houston all around here. Um, and that city's jazzed up anyways. They got the national championship there tonight. Just a lot of things going on in Houston. I like the vibe. So that's where I'm leaning. We'll see if I actually make a bet on it though.
And we've talked about it a couple times. I would rather, if you lose during the regular season to a team, I'd rather be in that situation than when you have to go and play them again. And they did lose to Cleveland a couple weeks ago. That's without Stroud. They lost 36-22 with Stroud. And then, I guess Flacco's experience in the playoffs is obviously probably one of their biggest assets right now going in. But I think I lean Houston. I think by the end of the week, that's where I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure out a way to slow down Amari Cooper. He had 260
Yeah.
whatever yards in that game. So
Yeah.
if they can figure that out, certainly be helpful. I think it'll be a much different game than last time.
Yeah. All right. Next game, which everyone is up in arms because you have to have a Peacock subscription, as if everyone hasn't been illegally streaming games for years and years. 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Miami is headed to Kansas City. Kansas City, 3.5-point favorites at home. This total is also at 44. It opened at 46.5. Supposed to get some really shitty weather, wind chill below zero. The narrative here is, of course, Tyreek Hill headed back to Kansas City. Miami's banged up, looked like absolute shit in that second half against the Bills, got shut out, gave up 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. Where are you at here? Because I don't know if Kansas City's been impressive either, but at the same time, I think I trust Kansas City more in this spot.
Yeah, it looks like this line opened up at 2.5, quickly jumped to 3.5. So that should be significant in all of your heads right now. Miami obviously has their injury concerns. Their whole defense is completely decimated. And on top of that, you have Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert, who I'm guessing will be back for this game, but likely not 100%.
Right.
Tua in the playoffs, we haven't really seen it. Remember, it was Skylar Thompson who started last year against Buffalo in the playoffs. So that's another subplot that we don't know about. Kansas City Chiefs defense is really good. They shut them down last time when these two played in, I believe, Germany earlier in the season. I think the Chiefs jumped out to a 21-0 first half lead, and then Miami came back a little bit. I think the final was 21-14. So maybe the under is a good look here, especially with the way that Kansas City's offense has been playing and Miami's inability to put it together here over the last couple of games. So under 44 would be the way that I want to look first, although that line has come down. So be careful about what number you're going to buy that at. I lean a little bit towards Miami plus 3.5. I just think there's a lot of variability in this game. I don't like the way Kansas City's offense has been playing. I think this could be a field goal game. My prediction's 20-17 Kansas City. I don't hate the hook with Miami. Miami's, even though they've lost a couple of these games coming down the stretch, they haven't been really blown out. They've kept these games close versus good teams. This is not like earlier in the year. I think it'll be tight. I still don't buy this Kansas City offense at all. Even with the defensive injuries for the Dolphins. So lean towards Miami here, lean towards the under.
Yeah, and one of the big things in Miami too this season is obviously their run game, and they should be able to establish the run against this Kansas City defense. So I'm staying away right now from a side. I think I am with you leaning on the under for this game, but it just depends what Kansas City are we getting? Is Travis Kelce going to show up and we're going to get, vintage Travis Kelce now that they've hit the playoffs? But their offense has really looked like a mess as of late.
Yeah, I mean, you can't buy anything on Kansas City's offense right now.
No.
Pacheco still isn't right. We don't know what's going on with the defenses. Mahomes didn't play this week. How's his rhythm going to be going back to Kansas City? Kelce looks like he's 45 years old. They have no other reliable receivers. You're basically betting on Mahomes' magic in the playoff, and the fact that playing at Arrowhead in the playoffs is damn near impossible. No one wins there outside of Tom Brady, and I guess Joe Burrow did it once too. It's really hard. And Tua, he's played great this year, but he is not in that category of player. That's kind of why I'm buying Kansas City to win this game, but I don't think that's going to be a blowout in any sense or fashion.
No, this game doesn't get me that exciting. The next game doesn't really either here. Moving to Sunday now, 1 p.m. on the East Coast. Steelers snuck their way into the damn playoffs. I feel like there was always this chance that was going to happen. You have Tomlin. I love the over on their win total, but for a while there. They didn't look like a great team. They have Mason Rudolph under center. They haven't looked bad, though, these last couple games here. The spread is some places Buffalo 9.5-point favorites at home. I still see double digits out there. That's a lot in a playoff game.
Especially since the total has dipped so fast.
I
So
know.
last night, this was the first two bets that I made. I bet Buffalo -8, and I bet the under of 40. Those numbers are now sitting at 10 and 35.5 the last that I saw. Definitely got a great number on that under. I wouldn't play it anymore, but I'm happy with the ticket that I have. Look, Buffalo's in a tough position here because they have to play the Steelers team that is kind of, their running game's going really well.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph, 18 of 20 in the slop against Baltimore. Very impressive. And this is a Tomlin team in a rah-rah spot on the road. It's a perfect spot to bet the Steelers. But at the same time, if Buffalo doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to murder this team. And I don't know how Pittsburgh's going to move the ball. I think this game, what did I write down? I think I have Buffalo 24, Pittsburgh 10. If Pittsburgh's running game gets going, this game could get really interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game late. But Buffalo could also use this game as a jumping off point and really, make a name for themselves in this playoffs. I would not be surprised to see them in the Super Bowl either. So I think this game all comes down to, for me, Josh Allen, do not turn the ball over and you will win this game going away. But it's the Josh Allen experience.
Yeah,
this is what we get, right?
Is that kind of asking for a lot, though? Maybe here. Steelers are also 1-10 all time without J.J. Watt, and it's looking like he will not be in that game. Very interesting. I think the Steelers can make this game interesting, though. I think they're still frisky enough. We're on the road, and I don't think a lot of people expected them to be in the playoffs here either. So it's interesting that Pikkit is healthy, and Mason.
He's not going to play. They're playing
Rudolph. I know he's not, but it's interesting because then you look ahead to next year. What the fuck are you guys doing? Because you're not going to
Russell Wilson.
Oh God, yeah, probably. That's good. Okay, we'll see how that goes for them. I think I don't know how you. I think if you like Pitt, I almost would just take them on the money line here. Maybe I don't fucking know. I'm probably staying away from this game entirely.
This game was the most interesting when it came out yesterday because FanDuel opened it at 7.5 and Circa opened it at 11. So everybody was kind of all over the board. No one exactly knows how to take this game. 10 points in a 35.5 total is an enormous number. So I get why people want to bet Pittsburgh in the spot, but Buffalo's a dangerous team.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Buffalo. I also think I wish I had got in on Buffalo making it to the Super Bowl a little bit earlier, but I feel like I need to put a little bit on it because they're hot right now.
Buffalo at Kansas City next week. Give it to us again. I love that.
Yeah, I'm here for it. All right, 4:30 game on the East Coast. Green Bay is going to Dallas. Dallas has been fantastic at home this season, 8-0. They actually have 16 straight games won at home. 7.5-point favorites. Mike McCarthy narrative going on. Totals at 50.5. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think that everybody's going to tease Dallas from 7.5 to 1.5 and pair it with some other piece. That's a little scary if you like Dallas. Dallas has dominated teams at home, and they look great yesterday. I know the Commanders stink and their defense is awful, but they still did what they had to do. I like Green Bay in this game. I can't believe that I'm saying this, and I'm going to wait because the line might keep going up and up. I was actually very surprised that the line moved from 7 to 7.5 here. I think that Jordan Love can hang. The problem is Green Bay's defense. Do we know what we're getting? They played all right recently, but we know that Joe Barry's defense can get absolutely torched. And if the Cowboys get going, watch out. They could put up 40 real fast in this game. So I kind of like the over of 50, and I'm leaning Green Bay plus 7.5. The predicted score I had was Dallas 27, Green Bay 24. So just touching the over there, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 33-30 game as well. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm on the over here as well. I think that taking my bias out of it, all trends need to come to an end. So if they don't lose at home this week, they certainly lose at home next week. But I think Green Bay is another one of those teams where they also weren't supposed to be here. Aaron Rodgers left. It was all this commotion. Now you have Jordan Love, who's playing great. I mean, he had 32 touchdowns this season. I haven't gotten that out of a fucking Giants quarterback since I don't know when. So, I mean, they have something in this kid. I think they're frisky. It depends on their defense, and they have to slow down the Cowboys because it can get out of control really fast. If that happens, they're screwed. But if they can hang in the game, I mean, I think I like taking Green Bay plus 7.5 here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they could backdoor this number easily. Down 14, just let Jordan Love cook. So that hook gives me the want to bet on Green Bay
Yeah.
in this game. But I'll probably wait. Maybe we get an 8. I'll take the 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, and then the night game, probably containing
Yes, the best game of the week.
public teams. This is a game we've been talking about, I feel like, for months now, saying that there was a potential that the scriptwriters were going to make this happen. I see Easy in the chat, who's a Detroit Lions fan. I have neighbors who have they painted week 1 their mailboxes, Super Bowl champions already. So Stafford's going back to Ford Field. People are forgetting too, Goff is playing his old team. Like there's still a Goff narrative here as well. Lions are 3.5-point favorites at home. Rams plus 146 on the money line. The Rams are hot right now, and Detroit's banged up. They made interesting choices, especially after hearing the Vikings saying they were going to go head hunting after the Lions hurt Hawkinson to put all of their starters out there. Amon-Ra is like holding on. Every time he goes off the field, is like holding on to his ribs. He's on and off the field. And then Laporta gets hurt. So it doesn't look like they'll have Laporta this weekend. He should be back for the weekend after that, should they make it. Totals at 51.5. Where are you at? Rams all day.
Yep, I got to take the Rams plus 3.5. This is the Goldilocks of the week. I can't believe this number's still out there. If this number's still 3.5 by the end of the week, 1, I would be surprised, and 2, I'd be a little bit scared that the sharps are betting Detroit in this position. The Rams defense is going to be a concern in this game, given that they're so young, but they run so much of their offense through Laporta, Detroit does, that I'm a little concerned that they're going to have to figure out a new way to establish this passing game without Laporta there. And Khalif Raymond's out. I know that's not that big of a deal, but he is their return guy. Special teams is going to come into play in this game. The Rams' special teams is absolutely atrocious, so we might get a little bit of a shit show on that side of the ball. The Rams' offense with Kyren Williams is going to cook in this game. And they got Puka. Cooper's going to be healthy. I think this is going to be – I don't know if I'm hoping more than I actually believe it, but I'm hoping that we get fireworks in this game. I really want to bet the over 51.5. I'm not going to do it yet. I might. My predicted score for this game, I have the Rams with the upset. We're going to go 28-27 Rams. Detroit comes down at the end, goes for 2, doesn't get it. Why not? That's the script that we need. What do you think about this game?
I don't know. Felt like I was going to come on and say I was on the Rams. I really do not like how much of the public is all over them now. My thing is, you know what I think this game is going to come down to? Well, before I say that, if Nick Mullins can finish a game with a stat line of 30 of 44 for 396 yards and 2 touchdowns, what can Stafford do with what he has against this team? Listen, I think the Rams' run D has looked good down the stretch too. So, Detroit's going to have to figure it out another way. Do they get J-Mo involved a little bit more? I think this is going to come down to either Campbell makes a mistake or Goff makes a mistake. If one of them does not make a mistake, I think they can win this game. But I can see this. I don't like how cute Campbell gets sometimes, and I think it's going to bite him in the ass at some point.
I fucking love Dan Campbell. If I were an NFL head coach, but I'm saying that his decision-making is exactly how I would coach as a head coach. Fuck it. Go against the wall all the time.
Because me too.
But that's why it's the best.
It's scary, though. I'm scared. So for the Lions, I really want them to win this game. I don't have a great read yet. The total right there at 51.5. I'm kind of leaning taking the under a little bit here.
I get it.
I think our defense will surprise people this week. Yeah, I think that they can get pressure, and that's where, because Stafford can kind of get statue-like back in the pocket. This should be a good game, though. I want to see how these numbers move. I haven't bet anything quite yet here.
I have a bet in this game already. I don't actually know the number, but I know where I'm going to go with this. Whatever the over longest touchdown is going to happen in this game. One of these teams is popping a big one.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that. All right, the Monday game, which is just, they should have made this the Peacock game, but they knew it wasn't going to get as many eyes. 8:15 on the East Coast. Philly at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 2.5-point home dogs versus a shit show of a Philly team, also very banged up. Just lost to the New York Giants. You can let Philly fans tell you whatever they want. They had their starters in through the entire first half, and they got absolutely destroyed. So I don't know what Philly is. Like, I don't know what the Bucs are really either. You have Hurts banged up. Tampa Bay's defense has been a little bit better. Mayfield's also banged up quietly as well. I feel like there's not a lot of people talking about that. Tampa, another team, wasn't really expected to be in the playoffs here. The narrative around this is, back in 2022, they lost to Brady and the Bucs, Sirianni's first season. They also have a 3-2 record versus the Eagles in the playoffs here. What's your initial read on this game? Total is 44.
Love the under in this game. Yeah. Under 44 is another lock for me. I've already bet it. I'll probably bet it again. I hope that it goes up a little bit. Baker's definitely hurt. No, not like just a little shaken up.
His ankle limping after the presser. Did you see that?
Yeah, his ankle is definitely an issue, which is more of an issue when you're facing a defensive line like the Eagles, and all they're going to try and do all game because of how bad their secondary is. They're going to tee off in this game against Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to throw interceptions. I also think he'll probably throw a long touchdown to Mike Evans at some point in this game. That's just how the Eagles defense is. And Jalen Hurts, he's banged up all over the place. He doesn't have a middle finger on his right hand right now. And we saw how this worked out. I can only compare it to Justin Herbert because he's the only finger injury we had this year, but we saw how bad it was for Herbert with that middle finger being hurt. He was not the same player. Now, this is a little bit different because it's not broken. It just looked like it was dislocated. But at the same time, with the amount that Hurts is under center, and the amount, those are like their special plays. It's definitely going to be an issue for them offensively. Hopefully, get Devontae Smith back. They'll have DeAndre Swift back in this game. I think that the Eagles' offensive line should be able to dominate in this one, pound the rock. I know that the Sharps are going to be on Tampa Bay. I know that the public's going to be on the Eagles. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm backing the public in this situation.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles know how to play playoff football. I think they'll come out and play a good game. I think it'll be low scoring. I got 20-14. Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot pick, I think, too, to take Tampa Bay after seeing how the Eagles have played. I think the Eagles get by this week, and I think that the next week is going to be where their issue is. So no team has finished 1-5 and won a playoff game since 2000. I think Philly just they've got to get it together. And I don't know, there's a little bit of this, like, has Sirianni, is he starting to lose the locker room a little bit? Like, what's going on there? Because there's a lot of, it just looks chaotic.
Yeah, I don't know. And another thing to pay attention to is the health of A.J. Brown in this game, because obviously he left the Giants game with an injury. Don't know what his status is going to be. If he's not playing this game, I'm going to have to reevaluate my entire position in this one. But I do think the Eagles win this game on the ground and pound, letting Jalen run around. I think that's their best path to victory here.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. All right. That's all of the games. Before I let you get out of here, any comments about any of the coach firings? I'm interested in who you think Washington's next coach will be as well.
Oh, wow. I think the Falcons are the right thing. It sounds like they're going to take a big swing. I'm very interested by what's happening in Washington right now. The idea that they brought in Bob Myers, the old Warriors GM, to kind of run this search along with Josh Harris is very interesting to me. I think you might see some kind of weird candidates come in to the building here. I don't know who I want Washington to hire. Like, the hot name is Ben Johnson. I feel like they want to get more veteran coach, and I don't necessarily think that it's going to be Bill Belichick. I think that if Vrabel ends up on the block, which it seems like he's going to, we're going to have some sort of bidding war for draft picks. I think that Washington needs to hire their executive first before doing anything else. And I know that they're interviewing Adam Peters from the 49ers. Seems like he would be a great hire for them, and then kind of spin it out from there. I don't know. Who do you want them to hire? I feel like a veteran coach is going to be the spot, even though they're going to end up with a rookie quarterback, it looks like. And rumors are that Washington already wants to trade up to number 1 to get Caleb Williams because he's a DC native. I could totally see that. I don't know. I feel like everything stems from what the fuck the Bears' decision is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I want them to make a mistake at head coach because I'm not ready for the Commanders to nail their head coach and then also get a Caleb Williams and then them just get very lucky and flipping around this organization like faster than they should have. Good for them for finally firing Ron Rivera. Happened exactly when I think we talked about it happening at the end of the season. They were always going to give him his respect. They let him also have a good night's sleep and then did it in the morning when they very easily could have done it as he was walking out that night. I don't know here. I think an interesting name to keep an eye on, and this will be one that they won't, they can't interview these guys while stuff is going on. Mike McDonald from the Ravens, the
Yeah, it
DC
makes a lot of
there.
sense.
That's going to be a name to keep an eye on. I could see, I don't know, does Washington go defensively while, the whole entire league is kind of leaning more towards these offensive candidates? They're an interesting one to watch. And also with the Titans, like, what do they do if Vrabel goes?
Yeah, it's interesting with Washington if they decide to go defensive, because before this year, I would have said to you, if you're going to draft a quarterback, number one, you have to bring in an offensive-minded head coach to go along with him. Like, that just naturally makes sense. But what happened with CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans in here maybe changes my perspective a little bit.
Right.
If you get the right guy, the right CEO type. D'Amico Ryans might be a 1 in 100 shot that you get a coach of that caliber. I don't know. But if they want to go that way, Mike McDonald makes a lot of sense. Maybe a Dan Quinn makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was thinking so.
McDonald, given where he is in Baltimore, how young he is, you can build with him, definitely fits that mold. But, pairing an offensive guy, a spectacular offensive head coach, along with a number one rookie quarterback has to be appealing to whoever comes in there.
I think that there's a pretty strong chance that if the Cowboys do lose this first round, that McCarthy? Yeah, I think he gets fired. I think he does.
So where does Dallas go then? Do they bring in Belichick and say, fuck it?
Do you think maybe?
I don't know. That seems so un-Jerry-like to just do that. I feel like he'd go and take a big swing somewhere. Maybe be like, Belichick or Lincoln Riley sounds hilarious to me.
What do you think is the most attractive job right now, Washington, because you do have that opportunity to move up and get your guy?
I feel like it's either Washington or the Chargers, just because the Chargers, you don't have to worry if you're getting the right guy or not.
And there's already pieces there.
Yeah. The problem for them is like their head coach is way easier than their GM job, because their GM is going to have a monumental task to get rid of all of that salary cap and try to figure out what to do with this team. So that'll be interesting. I feel like Ben Johnson on the Chargers just makes so much sense just to pair him with Herbert. And I don't know who you bring in as an executive there. Maybe like Ed Dodds from Indianapolis. That would be interesting. Those two jobs are definitely the two most appealing, but I don't know. Josh Harris, you just don't know enough about him as a owner yet that you would feel super comfortable. Like, I have to go get that job.
Yeah. He could be a fireball too.
The last one here. So Atlanta, they got rid of Arthur Smith. I'm wondering if there's a case to be made that they should hire Kirby Smart from Georgia.
Interesting.
He's just like an ultimate CEO. We know the college to pro thing doesn't work out that often, but he's not an offensive guru guy. He's a CEO type coach.
Yeah.
He's in the area. It would be an easy win for Georgia. Arthur Blank can just write a blank check if he wants to. Kirby Smart just won 2 national championships. Does he, what's he trying to prove at this point? Everybody, it seems like on that level, has an interest in going to the pros. Maybe. And I'm sure that if Jim Harbaugh wins the national title today, he will be an NFL head coach in the next 3 weeks.
I'm so intrigued with what Atlanta ends up doing and what route they go even at quarterback here, because they're not like totally out of the spot where they could move up. I think they're sitting at 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they could still make a splash if they wanted to.
Yeah, but Atlanta, I think that they could. Atlanta, if they decide that they get an offensive head coach, or anyone for that matter, that's like, all right, you know what? Screw it. Let's go get Justin Fields if he's out there.
Yeah.
Fields on that team with that offense could be electric.
Did you see how sad puppy Justin Fields was saying bye? That was he knows. Like, I think there had to be conversations being had too. So I think we can say with a fair amount of confidence that Justin Fields will not be the Chicago Bears quarterback next year. Yeah.
So Atlanta would offer, let's say, a 2nd and a 4th. So they have the 8th pick. So the 40th overall pick plus a 4th rounder for Justin Fields. They'd probably automatically extend that 5th year, or take the 5th year option, so they have 2 years to see what they have in him for not all that much money.
Yeah.
I think that that's a good time frame to figure out what you have. And I'm going to bring this full circle here. If Kirby Smart's the head coach, he recruited Justin Fields to Georgia. He played for him at Georgia for a year.
I love the offseason. I'm so freaking excited. It's always the best, especially NFL draft gambling. Can't wait to get that started. When you come on next week, another week into the playoffs. This is flying by. Everyone go follow Jason on Twitter at Jason Gold 20. Is it 24 or 24? Just 24.
Just 24.
Just 24. All right. I will let you get out of here and see you next week.
Thanks, Smalls.
Yeah. Then we'll let producer Ryan come on whenever he wants.
Oh, hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I just have to react to this really quick. Wink Martindale is apparently re-signing. Easy said he just saw them vacation, which makes me very happy. Bobby Johnson got fired. Special teams coach got fired. We beat the Eagles. I'm all right now. I'm okay right now. I feel fine.
You feel good. Yeah. Well, I was, if you can believe it, I was all caught up in the Cardinals game yesterday on the Seahawks. I thought they had 2 chances to win it. If our kicker just would have kicked one freaking field goal towards the end there, and I had the Cardinals over 4.5 wins. They would have hit it and I also had the Seahawks under 8.5 wins. So that would have been a double. But I missed out on both.
They punched you right in the nuts, both of them at the same time.
The good news was I had James Conner over 6.5 total touchdowns, and that hit yesterday in the final game.
Resigning? He's resigning?
Not resigning, he's resigning.
Oh my God.
Well, this is Stephie parting ways. Yes. Reaction in real time there. Sorry, girl.
I'm so fucking mad. Fuck this team so much.
Wait, what'd you say?
So fucking pissed right now. I'm so fucking mad right now. Why can they not do anything right? Like, I don't. All right. Let's just get
Wink Martindale resigning.
Okay. It's awesome.
All right. Well, let's answer some questions and then get out of here so you can process this.
Are they fucking stupid? Like, why? What is wrong with them? I don't understand. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
All right. We already talked a little bit about this, but Frank Amarante, who you got for Commanders head coach next season? You and Jason talked a little bit about this, but who's your pick?
A little bit. I think that it'll be more of a surprising pick. I don't know. I don't see Ben Johnson there. I get it. I think another name to keep an eye on for like all of these jobs that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is Frank Smith, Miami's OC. Like the Dolphins had the #1 scoring offense this season. I think that he could be a guy that people look to. I can see Washington going with a defensive guy though. I'm not really sure. I hope you guys don't get Ben Johnson. I'll tell you that much.
All right. Question 2 from Nikki the Good. What QBs would be available at 6? Obviously, he is looking at the Giants pick.
Yeah, the same ones that are going to be available at the end of the first round and the beginning of the second, because the main guys are all going to be gone. No one that I think that they will want there unless someone were to fall, which I don't see happening. I do think they draft a quarterback, though.
You do think they do?
Yeah. I think that, again, like I've said it over and over again, but that pick from the Seahawks for Leonard Williams, the 2nd round pick, could absolutely be like a moving piece that they have to either jump or, go back into the end of the first round. And this could change. My opinion could change as we get closer to the draft. But I think that going into next season, Tyrod's moving on. DeVito is not a fucking NFL quarterback. You still have Daniel Jones. I don't know why. Like, they're not moving on from him at least this upcoming year. So they're going to have to find, at least a quarterback. And if they, I could see Joe Shane, if there's a guy that they really like, Bo Nix, I don't know, Penix. I know he's, a lot of injury history type stuff, but there's still going to be options, I think. And how many times do we see these guys end up not panning out in the early first round anyway? So
absolutely. All right.
It won't matter because we're fucking doomed without Wink Martindale. So it honestly doesn't matter what the fuck we do.
This is from @Justin the Baker. What are the Giants doing with Saquon?
Well, everyone's probably just fucking leaving at this point. That's what I would get. I tweeted yesterday, I have this weird feeling that Saquon is going to be back a Giant. I know that like the media is pushing a very different narrative. I think that they offer him like a reasonable amount that he's not going to get from somewhere else. And he just comes like, I don't foresee him leaving. That's just a weird gut feeling that I have. Do I think it's the smartest thing? Like, as long as they're not overpaying for him, I don't know why anyone could look at the Saquon's like time on the Giants and think that we should let him walk. Like, as long as you're not overpaying a running back, I don't know. Like, why do someone give me a reason why we want Saquon to necessarily walk? Like that part, I don't fully understand.
I don't understand that either.
Well, maybe he won't want to though, because Wink's gone and everything's to shit now. Xavier McKinney's gonna leave. Everyone's gonna fucking leave now. So I'm gonna go out in the corner. Before we sign off, I made another one and done to start this week with the Sony. So I'll put that in the description as well. I know we filled up some of it for the Century and people were asking for another one. So I'll post another one and done after this, get it into the description, and then we'll see you guys Wednesday.
All right, we're back Wednesday.
Oh, we don't know yet, actually. We're going to decide if we want to change the schedule up. I forgot. We might switch up the schedule now that golf is here and football is starting to wind down. So I'll keep everyone posted on what the updated.
All right, yeah. Check Stephie's Twitter for the updated show schedule, and we'll be back when we're back.
Yeah.
Watch it, make it, break it, break it, break it.